I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
What up? What up? What up? Good evening to everybody. Hope you're having a great day, ready to rock and roll. It is Wednesday. That means it is hump day. That means we are a hop, skip, and a jump away from a big weekend in the world of sports. I'm fired up. This is one of my favorite weekends here. We get conference championship weekend. So much on the line to be determined, and what happens for the college football playoffs. How about that, you guys? And I already released a video. You know, we talked a little bit about it on Sunday, or I think it was Monday, one of the live streams. And I wanted to come back and make it official, give you guys some more stats, some angles, some trends, some things to consider as far as how I see the game goes and why the winner is what I laid out there for the SEC championship game. So please do me this favor. If you haven't checked it out, it just came out, just hot off the presses. But look, it's not just about, is it a rematch and can they beat them twice? There's stats and there's trends layered behind it, as we've done before. We should do it some more. So I will put more videos out there. If you guys can, show a little love, put some likes out there, put some comments in the video for me. Look, it's not fun doing, get 50, 60 views. Like, I expect more. God damn, we're 3 subscribers away from crossing into 1,800 subscribers here on Sports Money Network. And that's hard to believe. I mean, we're just in the year and a half mark here or so of doing live content with you guys. So it's very exciting to see the growth. Very exciting to put the videos together. I like to look at the spot. I'm going to bet them. I'm going to put some of them over there on Winnable. So you might as well just hit that like button and check out what we're doing. Speaking of doing, tonight is the First Strike video. We will be doing that at 8 p.m. Jeff and I will record a side each or a total, and then a parlay for the squad. We've been firing with the parlays. We've been with our sides. So the last pay-per-view event of the year for UFC, we'll see if we can't find a way to share some victories there with you guys. And a victory, a changing of the guard, if you will. You'll see it scrolling across the bottom, the new X handle, at Mikey Money wins. Sunsetting the Pimp Slap POD. Sad days. Sad days are here, but exciting journey ahead. Just alignment, more of an alignment thing with the channel growing and trying to create that brand. We've got Sports Money Wins for the X side of things on the Sports Money Twitter account. Just felt like Mikey Money Wins gets us in the game to make it easier to find all the content that's being posted out there. Of course, Sports Money Network over on X and Twitch. You can see all the social handles that we have there on the side of the screen. Trying to put content out there all over the place. I've been putting a free play of the day over on Instagram if you haven't been checking that out. Man, I'll tell you, we took the L yesterday. Yesterday was a little defeating, a little deflating. The hook has been looming large. Also, I commented on those late 10 p.m. plays. I think I'm going to have to do a little about face. I mean, Golden State. I talked about Golden State. I said, I don't care. I know the situation and nobody's playing. And they were getting thumped. They were down like 22 points at halftime, right? And something like that. Or they were down 22 points at one point in the game. And they came back and they were down like 2. And I was like, wow, here we go. And there was only a couple of minutes left in the game. And they end up losing by 12, right? So I had to double check. Like, I live bet it plenty of times at 12.5 and 14.5 and 22.5, but gave out 11.5. And so the last game on the card has 4 hours to percolate. And if you waited to bet it, you got the better number than I did. So I'll own the L, but going to have to take it into consideration as we do some of these late night games, because I want to spread the card out. I want to get some action at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, and even 11 o'clock if there's those games that want to keep me out of bed till 2:30 in the morning. But man, it just sucks to miss the line like that. What are you going to do? What can you say? We had a kind of a hodgepodge, a myriad of a day here on the Sports Money Network. We were about down a unit or so. That Golden State spot I told you, Damn, and then let's talk about overtimes for a minute, because the Dallas Stars lose in overtime. Oh, that sucks, right? Then on top of that, Chicago Blackhawks lose in overtime. So we had the plus 1.5 with the half unit there over on the Chicago Blackhawks plus 230, but it's like, man. And I think I've taken like 4 overtime losses in the last 2 days. So the pendulum's going to shift back in my direction, but it just stings. I mean, we easily cashed the over 5.5 in that Boston game, 5-4 final for the Red Wings. We easily cashed the under in that Syracuse game. I told you, I thought that was a sneaky flat spot. And Syracuse ends up coming out right. Now, we know the ACC SEC challenge, so consider the zigzag out there, but Rick Barnes and company could not come into the carrier. I guess it's what's it called now? The JMA wireless or some shit like that. That was not my choice. And I still don't support and agree with what they're doing out there. Had an opportunity for the state to come in and fund a brand new carrier dome, and they just said, no, we're going to keep the same old fucking thing that's been around for 100 years. And hey, I mean, if the state wants to come off of some of that money, I like to go see games out there, and I wouldn't mind a new stadium. But I guess I'll have to deal with the Buffalo Bills stadium and the cold weather that is. Let's see what else happened. Nichols loses by the hook. There's another hooker. 19.5. They lose by 20. So it's pretty frustrating. Now, the Portland game sailed over the number. Well, I should say sailed over the number. I mean, yeah, I guess 240 on a 230. Yeah, I guess it went over. Washington, gets busted up. The Wizards get busted up. No Middleton. Obviously, there is a problem out there. Houston, we have a problem. And then, Florida or Farley Dickinson loses by 2.5 points on the spread. So, that stinks. Had a nice day at Winnable. Had a really strong day at Winnable. Generated over, what's impressive about the Winnable day? And I recap it every day over there, so you can check it out. If you're a free subscriber, you can see I try to stay just like we are here, accountable to what the hell is happening out there. And look, we started out 0-2 yesterday on the Winnable side of things. 2 soccer plays, 2 losers. Unfortunately, because of the juice, I Dunkachino'd 2.4 units on that thing, almost 2.5 units. We ended the day up 4.58 units. So think about that. We were down 2.4, 5-3 in the NHL. Now, I gave out a last-minute play. 10 minutes before the puck dropped, the Toronto Maple Leafs, I saw last-minute lineup changes for the Florida Panthers. And so I tossed that out there via the text alert. There was so little time to get it in, but you got it in there if you had the text alerts, hopefully. And that was a plus 142 or a 143. So that was a nice little gain for us. Swept the board in the NBA, 3-0, had a 3-0 charge there. Added 2 plays to college basketball. They both lost. So I ended up going 3-2 in college basketball, but just under a unit. And then I was sitting around, I was watching the line move after the game started, and I was like, fuck it. Let's toss out an NBL play. Text alerts were there. It was a live bet, and we cashed it. Cashed it for a 1-0 spot over there as well. So a lot of volume. I told you guys I had a lot of volume yesterday. I've got a lot of volume today. I got a lot of college basketball volume today. It's a small NHL card, so I'm going to take you through 2 plays I have here, including the Sharp Respected Betting Report. Not to be confused with Steam Betting, the Sharp Respected Betting Report. Why do I reference the Sharp Respected Betting Report with such joy and grandeur? Because it's been fucking cashing like crazy, man. We'll talk about the play that's out there tonight. Last night was the Minnesota Wild. Cashed, plus 125. The night before was the Anaheim Ducks. Cashed, plus 125. The night before that was the Ottawa Senators, plus 120. Cashed out there. And then the night before that was the Buffalo Sabres at plus 125. The Flyers at plus 120. I think this thing's on a 6 or 7 game heater right now. And we got to play out there tonight. Came out late. They've been holding their cards close to their vest. But it's just an example of some of the tools and technology that we try to use to just help make informed betting decisions. Fuck it. Just want to make winning bets is what it comes down to. And if that thing's on a heater, we want to know about it so that we can capitalize on the run when we have it. So that's the deal, you guys. Again, SEC Championship is posted. You've already got the 3 picks from VB MMA Pick Show out there for the UFC 323 this weekend. One of the top handicappers in UFC in the world is kind enough to provide us his content. I don't just say it. You can go check it out. I think he's number 4 on the international rankings for the MMA tips site there. So you can certainly check those plays out. They're here every week. Every single week, him and Ramon Scott go through the 3 spots there. They usually give you the main, the co-main, and then either an exciting main event card or the feature prelim card. So one of the best in the world is giving you guys 3 free picks here at the Sports Money Network. MMA Jeff and I will give you 3 free picks here at the network. And if you guys can smash that thumbs up button, I will give you guys I will take the time out of my increasingly diminished window of days to share more what I think conference championship Friday and Saturday look like. Frankly, we got games Friday, we got games Saturday. So maybe, let's take a look. Maybe, I know there's some big trends. I know there's some big angles. I know there's some big Friday plays, and I think they start early. Let me just double check. Let me double check what we got going on. There's some shit games out there too. Nope, Friday starts at 7. There's Troy James Madison, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, North Texas, and Tulane. I'll probably give that play out here. And then UNLV and Boise State. I might give out 2 plays here on Friday. But either way, I'm going to do videos for the other 2 if you guys get those thumbs up out there. And then Saturday's a big day. The Big 12 Championship, BYU, Texas Tech, the MAC Championship. I got a huge trend for that one. At Miami, Ohio, Western Michigan. That's a 12 p.m. start. I will be doing a video for that one. If we can get to, let's keep it a low bar. I mean, let's say 75 views, likes. Nothing too crazy. We can grow it from there. But the research that I cracked the code, I found a bevy. I found the best sides, the best rematch spots, the best dog spots, and the best total spots in all of championship games. And they're frankly 1 per each conference, I guess you would say. So you don't want to miss out on that stuff. It's going to be a ton of fun. And I shared a bunch of them in the Georgia-Alabama breakdown, number 3 versus number 9, 4 p.m. ABC, SEC Championship. But we have some work to do this evening. So the time is upon us. Look, we're going to talk about 2 hockey games. I told you it's a small slate, so we will get into it. We will talk about the Sabres and the Flyers. We will talk about the Mammoth and the Ducks. I'm going to take into college basketball. I added a bunch of plays too, so I can't even promise these are all of them. I think I added 3 plays. Rio Grande Valley and Stephen fucking Austin. That's our squad. Stephen fucking Austin is playing tonight. Coppin State in West Virginia. One of the most difficult places to travel to is Morgantown. I got to play for you guys there with a huge trend to back it up. Actually, kind of intersecting trend. It's like a hybrid situation. I got Sacred Heart, Mount St. Mary's with a sharp, respected betting report. Louisville and Arkansas is going to be that ACC SEC challenge that I aforementioned, that I think we have a unique approach for that game. The Nuggets and the Pacers will get us into the NBA. I added the Portland Cleveland game. I added the Hornets and the Knicks. We've got to play out there. And I've got the Heat and the Mavericks. I don't think I added any more than that. I think the reason I know that is because I added that one late and then I came back and circled up on the top. So lots of action for us here tonight. But I appreciate everybody that's joining us here. Again, changed the X handle. You shouldn't have to do anything for the X handle. Just should be simply a transition over. X is going to verify all my shit on the back. And I think they already did, actually. I think we're live over there. So I think we're all set. Again, just alignment, just trying to get in alignment with, look, when you start blindly tweeting people from a pimp slap POD, sponsors don't get so excited about that one either. So it's in alignment with Sports Money Wins. Hey, I don't know if it's selling out or just trying to get paid, but want to grow the channel. We need more we need more dollars to grow the channel. We need more ducats to bring in some more resources and more personnel. And so trying to find alternate paths to do that. But hey, first and foremost, it's most important that we win. We had a great winning night. We're up on the month in winnable right now, 6.58 units. I know we're only 2 days in, but think about that. We're up over 6.5 units already in a basic flat betting style. So if you guys haven't done so, check it out. Free plays galore. You're not going to want to miss out those text alerts. I just told you about that one last night with the Toronto, Florida spot there. Almost 1.5 units of profit. And it came out about 10 minutes before the game started. That's the benefit of text alerts. Make sure you check out Winnable if you haven't done so already. Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
Alrighty, I think I got some plays that make an absolute ton of sense tonight. So I'm very excited to share those with you guys. But you know, my favorite part of the show is talking about the plays that you guys are on. So get them in the chat. Let's shout out everybody that's in here tonight joining us. See if we can't get a good crowd going here. Let's get some big winners going here. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. That pivots to Thursday. We go live for Thursday night football. It's a big game between the Lions and the Cowboys. Friday, we'll get our shit together so that we can attack Saturday with a huge card between the championship games, the college basketball slate, the NBA slate, the NHL slate, and of course, the UFC slate, the final pay-per-view, and ESPN Plus, hopefully, in the era of the UFC. Sunday, you know, we'll be rolling as well because we're going to give you the Ramon Scott Morning Steam every day, 7 days a week at 9 a.m. You'll see, of course, the 11 a.m. fastest growing show in NFL. Man, the views last week were really incredible. YouTube, good. Twitter, huge. And I don't mean just to stopped on it for a second. I mean, wow, it was incredible to see. So very excited, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to Gooey McDougal. He likes Louisville and Texas. Blake M says, good evening, everyone. Mr. Wesker says, pip slap. What do you think of West Virginia minus 31.5? I'm going to tell you how I approach that game. And it is with the thought process that West Virginia is going to win. But how are they going to win, Mr. Weskers? That's what we're going to talk about here. Stop Geo Engineer. Trevor Davis says he likes Kent State team total over tonight. I didn't even look at that game. I'll take your word for it. I'll write it down. I'll take your word for it and I'll write it down. And I'll keep my eyes on it and see if I can't live bet it with you, my guy. Best case for you would be that I don't have a live bet shot because they're blowing them out early. You ever hate that when you miss a game and then you're like, I'll just get it live. And it just never comes back into the window of being able to smash it and cash it. Dr. Vitalis, who drinking and smoking. What up, Mike? Nice win this morning. Thanks, my dude. Appreciate you, Vitalis. I did give out a play overnight. Last night, as a matter of fact, after the NBL play that cashed easy. Gave another one out today, though. We went 1-on-1 college basketball, just full disclosure. Got a good shot to live bet. But I got to be a little more scrupulous. How about that? Got to be a little more scrupulous about the plays that I add in the process here. Gooey McDougal says winning bet is Louisville to beat Arkansas. Not following the masses and smash bet on Louisville tonight. Vitas is okay. Nicholas Handy's here. Dave Pate is here. Says taking Arkansas plus the points. Money Mike. Step back, Jay. I don't know if he meant to say pass. Stop Geoengineer says hit the like button, my fellow scumbags. Mr. Wesker says it's called compromise. Business requires it. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Google McDougal says the pimp slap will always be spoken of. The Twitter handle is only a handle. We have the live in action pimp slap PODs weeknights at 6 p.m. You're damn right, man. And we'll always have the light. I got to get a better way to showcase the light. I don't know if it turns on here. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it that well. Let's see. No, you can't really see it that well. See? It's back there. Can't really see it. And obviously my desk is grown off center over time. It's back there. But it is what it is. Robert McCormick says cash big in soccer this afternoon. I'm ready to keep it going. I did cash a team total, but it's too late. Shout out to Smoke and Mirrors. Says, let's get it. I hope them bourbons were hitting hard last night, my dude. Textiles is here. He says Brunson assists. I got a nice little same game parlay. It's a 2-leg. I don't know. I mean, 2 legs is technically the same game, but I kind of consider same games like where you bring in the player prop, not so much like the side and the total, but the player prop. And maybe that's just me. You know, it's like I got a ladder play that I like tonight, but is it a ladder if I only parked it on 2 steps? 2 rungs is like step stool. You know, it's more call that a step stool, I think, as far as that is concerned. FB Gotti says Jaden McDaniels is banned. Very interesting. Jade McDaniels is banned, he says. I'll tell you what, you guys, what do you think about Giannis? Where is he going? Antetokounmpo, where is he going? Rumors are, he's denying the rumors, but the camp says they want to evaluate his future. He wanted out of there 3 years ago, and they built him a new practice facility, and they tried to bring in, who'd they bring in from Portland there? Why can't I think of who it was? Anyways, guy wants out. Let him fucking go. I mean, it's going to devastate the Bucks, but they should be able to get a king's ransom for that guy, wouldn't you think? I bet he goes to San Antonio. How about that? Go to the Spurs, play with Wemby? Not saying I know anything. I'm just saying I know something about nothing. But maybe that'd be pretty cool to see what happens. Let's see what else you guys have to say. FB Guy says needed rebounds and assists, and he stayed at 5. Oh, that's not the worst, dude. Lillard, that's who it was. Thank you. Dame time. How could I forget it was Dame time? Never really worked out to be Dame time, though, did it? Steven Adams is available to play tonight. That has just come across the radar for anybody considering the NBA side of the house here. I'm ready to go in, and let's talk about some of these games. Again, a small card. FB Guy says, McDaniels, 10 points, burn me. Last leg of a 4-legger, I'm with you. I like it. All right, we're going to put McDaniels on the banned list. I'm good. I like it. Well, I'll write him down. I'm gonna work on a new way to develop the bans list. We know the Clippers are on there. Or are they? Anyhow, let's get into it tonight, you guys. Lots of action. Want to get moving. Lots of stuff to do. Like I said, I want to get into more college football recordings here and give you guys some more plays that maybe just an opportunity to check out a different format. You know, we're always going to have the shows are going to be rolling, but there's just so many other things going on that it's like, hey, here's a way to kind of get that in. And some of you guys like them real early. I know some of you guys will ask me 2 or 3 days in advance about it. It's like, I believe late betting is great betting, but I do want to be a man of the people and do my best to help you guys get in early on some of those plays. So that being said, we're going to kick this off tonight with a battle of my squads. You don't hear me say the Sabres are my squad very often, but by default, by vicinity, by geolocale, of course, the Flyers are near and dear to my heart, but the Buffalo Sabres. Well, just because I grew up and that was where we used to go watch games as kids. And we got an interesting battle tonight because guess who's back? Back again is Samuel Ersson on the Flyer side of things. Now, he is the number one, but he hasn't been playing very often. He's only 4-2-2. Partly, mostly, predominantly because of injury. And he's just, he's managing a 3.08 goals against average. So, look, bag of shit status. We know that. On the other side of things, Colton Ellis is a BOS himself. He's got a 4-2 record, but a 3.13 goals against average. Flyers just took a thumping the other night, 5-1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I guess the big question is, can they bounce back? And if they're going to do it, they have to do it against the Buffalo Sabres, who found themselves on the right end of victory the other night. It's kind of, what do you want to say? They beat the Wild in Minnesota. Then they whooped up on Winnipeg. But Winnipeg's kind of suspect right now. Winnipeg's dealing with some injuries. So think about who Winnipeg's playing tonight. Maybe a good fade spot for them. But I had to look at this one because there's a couple of them tonight that we have where it's like you kind of have to thread the needle a little bit to find this particular spot. And I don't mean thread. I don't like to get 8, 9, 10. If you find 8, 9, or 10 derivatives in a trend as you're making them, of course it's going to be 4-0, right? Or 5-0. But if we can just kind of keep it simple to I don't like to go past 3, but I tend to find with the fourth one, there's still a beefy enough sample, or sometimes you just have to kind of drill it down a little bit because there's not enough of a sample. So in any event, this one comes down to a really particular situation. After a win from Buffalo, they go on the road as a favorite against a non-playoff team. They're 10-1. Buffalo Sabres specifically. So we look at the trends as 3 types, right? The league-wide trends, we got some of those tonight. We got team-specific trends, and then sometimes we have player or coach-specific trends. Coaches probably lean more towards the college side of things, but not necessarily. I don't want to just handcuff them to that situation here. But the Buffalo Sabres, even though they're going to Colton Ellis, will get my capital this evening. No pun intended for the Washington Capitals here, but I just think that there's two things going on. One, well, the biggest thing going on for the Flyers right now is it's becoming injury season again. So Trevor Zegras is a fucking man of men. I mean, this guy's got 9 goals and 16 assists on the season, but recent additions here on top of this thing, Forster. Tyson Forster is a big deal. It could have been a nice little revenge game for Rasmus Ristolainen. He was a Buffalo player that was drafted, but he's still going to be out for another week. And then just recent acquisition was yesterday, or recent move to the list was Tyson Forster. Guy was like a solid second line, top 6. Just not, I don't know. I mean, he's not really for the Flyers, he's a top 6 guy, but he's not really statistically there. I don't know. A guy scored a lot of fucking goals, and that's a lot of issue to have to replace from a guy that's 10 goals, 3 assists on the season, 13 points, and a +7. That's a big chunk to take out of the lineup here for a team that just came off a loss. Now, they did peel off 3 wins. They had a big road trip, so this will be their second game settling in at home. And yeah, you know, after you have, 4 or 5 games on the road, sometimes that first game back at home could be difficult, although I'll share with you a spot tonight, not in the NHL, but in the NBA, where that is a particular non-applicable stat. But I got to lean to the Buffalo Sabres, you know, especially when you think about injuries and players coming back. And yeah, the team's a mess, and I don't like their goaltending situation, but they're really, for all intent and purpose, 100%. And they're coming in off that win. So I don't want to get in the way of it. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1. I mean, that's kind of the strength of the spot that they're in right now, but I think they can pluck off a vulnerable Philadelphia Flyers team and a big opportunity for them to catch a win in this division. So we'll kick it off. This will be a TNT game tonight. Also HBO Max, which is not something you expect to see. But if you're looking to watch that game, probably should see fights, probably going to see goals. I suspect that will be an over spot as well for that game, but that's the way I'm going to kick this card off in the NHL. We'll move over to the West Coast and finish the NHL card for us here. Bigatti says he's aware he'd burn a lot of people. Textile says Giannis to the Spurs would be huge. And SF Niner says Giannis to OKC. Can you imagine that, dude? No way. The problem, I think, OKC's got, whose draft pick do they have? Whose number 1 do they have that's a shitbag already? Is it Atlanta? Who's the shitbag team no, is it New Orleans? I don't know. They got a number 1, and the team looks like it's going to be number 1. So, yeah. Boy, that would make basketball unwatchable, wouldn't it? You already see OKC thumping on everybody. SF9 says basically KD all over again. Okay. Let's move into the second game on the NHL card. We'll keep this brisk pace, keep this thing moving, try to get up and out of here so I can get all this other stuff done this evening, including finding a time to have some dinner. Hungry right now. Utah Mammoth at the Anaheim Ducks. I will tell you right now, this one made the sharp, respected betting report. I just told you, start of the show, that thing's running red fucking hot right now, and they're picking a pick on this game. The Utah Mammoth will start Karl Vejmelka in the crease. He's doing all right. He's got 2.87 goals against average, 88.2% save percentage. Look, I think that some people forget with the Utah Mammoth, they play at elevation. So keep that in mind, because you'll see a lot of teams on the road when Utah's hosting a game, they'll play at Utah and then Colorado, or vice versa. And that second leg of the back-to-back at elevation definitely is something you want to consider. On the other side, Ville Husso will start for the Anaheim Ducks. Why Husso? Because Dostal and Mrazek, both goaltenders, are injured right now. So, yikes be the saying over there. You know my feeling when it gets to these goaltenders in the sticky, tricky situation. On top of that, the Anaheim Ducks just thumped the St. Louis Blues, but they're literally in win one, lose one mode. Listen to this. They lost to the Wild. They beat the Mammoths. So we've got a revenge Mammoth spot is why I referenced that. It was a tight one. It was 3-2. They beat the Bruins. They lose to the Senators. They beat the Knights. They lose to the Canucks. They beat the Kings. They lose to the Blackhawks. They beat St. Louis. And into tonight comes this Mammoth squad in a revenge situation with their starting goaltender. Also finds themselves on a mini 4-game losing streak. Can they get themselves back in the game? Can they figure it out? Anaheim Ducks, that was a 3-2 game. So the problem I have with Ville Husso, now, I guess this could go both ways. Both ways meaning, like, he played in the minors, he played for the AHL squad. He hasn't really been lighting the lamp. This guy literally is in because of emergency replacement. And then, you know, my feeling about that, what happens if he does have a bad start? You got to leave this dude in to get the lamp lit all over him. Bring the suntan lotion. So what does a team tend to do in that situation? And this is important because the Anaheim Ducks happen to be one of the higher scoring goal-oriented offenses in the league. You have to shift and pivot to play some defense. So you're not taking as many of those big high-risk chances as you might normally take. And when you have a team in the Mammoth coming in here, not desperate, but hungry for a win, that's problematic. Furthermore, the road dog, and I say dog, but it's kind of shifting around, right? They're kind of around a pick 'em. But equal rest of team off a win, 14-7 out of those spots. So for all the aforementioned reasons, I'm going to jump in on the Utah Mammoth. Also, it aligns with the Sharp Respected betting report. Sharp Respect. Maybe it was me. Maybe they're waiting for me to make the pick. And then after I made the pick, they were like, here it is. Here's the report. You know what? I don't know if that's possible, but that could very well be the case because it was maybe 5 minutes after I made it that thing came out. And I was like, oh. Are they following me? Are they tailing me? What's going on? Shout out to Mr. Wesker says so many shit teams can't remember. I know. That's how I feel. Tarek B's in the house. Stopping by to say hello. What's up, Tarek B? We will see you on Saturday. Jay Peasy says, what up, motherfuckers? And there's Nasty Nate. His Celtics smashed last night. And his Patriots smashed the night before. Nasty Nate's got to be feeling pretty good. Probably some tequila sodas in his future, I would guess. But speaking of futures, if you haven't done so already, take a second and smash that thumbs up button. Best way to show some support that you guys appreciate what we're doing here. Cost you nothing. Helps us out a ton. Gets this content continuing around the wagon here. We're 3 subs away from that magical 1,800 number. 18 is my lucky number. So it'd be great if we could get to 1,800 so that we can start bowl season strong as a motherfucker. Right, JPZ? You know what I'm saying. Let's go. Nasty Nate's got the cocktail sign in. Yeah, man. Why not, dude? We've been banging away. The second quarter was a beautiful spot, too. I mean, firing with them boys. I texted you last night. I messaged you. I said, hey, Celtics smashed. I was on them. I needed it. That was good money for me. Let's go. Graphic. Best viewers streamboat combo. Remove the space. There we go. There you guys go. If you're looking for some Twitch love, we are live on Twitch. There you go. Anyway, you guys, let's move in to college basketball. I just got to make sure really quick that I have all the plays. I added a bunch of them to this card. Let me take a second look. One, two, three, four, five of them. What do we have on the screen here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I got one more added to this card here, and it happens to be everybody's favorite. Intersecting zeros. You know we like our zeros. Zeros are good. Sometimes they're great. Let's go. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Nasty Nate says down by 11 at the end of the first quarter, and then boom, second quarter. I was literally thinking about you when I looked at halftime and they were smashing. I was like, that motherfucker got that second quarter again. Let's go, dude. I see what you guys are sharing with your plays. That gets me fired up. I like to see everyone winning, man. So shout out if you tailed Nasty Nate in his second quarter smash spot for the Boston Celtics. Okay, onward, upward, away we go. We've got plenty. Actually, I think we've got a really great looking card in college basketball tonight. And it just so happens I don't even have to scroll. Whew, what a treat. Utah Rio Grande Valley kicks off the top of the card on the road against Stephen fucking Austin. Line open at -5.5. It's moved to -6.5. You got 53% of the bets and 56% of the cash coming in on Stephen fucking Austin. And a line that's dropping. 149.5 has come down almost 6.5 points. That's reverse line movement, kiddos. 69% of the bets and 69% of the cash are on the over. It's 5-2 Stephen F. Austin. It's 2-4 Utah Rio Grande Val. And the question is, I was actually laughing about this because, hey, start conference play. So you can tell you're a real shit program when you start conference play now. And these guys are still doing like the SEC, ACC challenge. And even out there in the, what is it out there on the West Coast now? It's the, what is it? You know what I'm talking about. Is it the Mountain West and the Pacific? Anyhow, then you got these schools. These schools will be I was just laughing. It just all kind of clicked on me. Boom. These guys will be playing their college playoff basketball tournaments, college championship basketball tournaments a week before the rest of them. And this is part of the reason because they start now. So this is a conference game. This is a big deal right now. Stephen F. Austin comes in off the loss. Thing is, they had 3 road games. They played at Fresno. They lost. It was close. They were favorites, but they lost. They went to Pepperdine. They thumped Pepperdine, small favorite. And Stephen F. Austin loses to Utah Tech. Utah Rio Grande Valley, on the other hand, same situation. What I like about these schools is they battle tested themselves. Listen to this run. They had Illinois. They had Missouri Southern, Boise State, Southern Utah, and a Baylor matchup in there for Utah Rio Grande Valley. So you got 2 teams coming in here, rounding out themselves, ready to go out there and attack inside this conference. That's why it's important that this is conference play. And the big thing to me is the tip of the hat goes to the home team. Last year when these 2 teams played, they did split. There was an absolute split in this spot. And so, meaning the home team won the 2 times they played, the home team won their respective positions, right? Why did I think that was important to give me the Stephen fucking Austin side today? Well, first and foremost, we've got line movement moving in our direction. We got a 6. And the fact is, Utah Rio Grande Valley as a road dog sees a lot of overs. 8-1-1 in their last 10, 41-23 when you put them in that dog position. To me, I just try to simplify it. You're on a conference opponent's home court to kick off conference play. Kind of a big deal. And so on top of that, you've got changing sightlines, a fired up crowd, roaring to rip your heads off. This is a hostile environment. And then they tell you with the spread at 6, they expect Stephen fucking Austin to thump, as do I. I think this is a good spot for us to kick this college basketball card off. We'll roll on. Stephen F. Austin will be the opener for me. Nessie says I was playing poker with the fellas and got them all to bet it. Nice, dude. Then I gave the Razors special. Vegas first period over, and they all cashed again. It's a good night. Nice, dude. Nice. Dude, I was so hoping that the Blackhawks would win that fucking game. I had a nice... I'll tell you, I did it. And the only reason I did it is because it made sense financially. I had a 5-leg NHL parlay with the last leg being the Chicago Blackhawks money line, right? And then I had a bunch of money line plus a live play on the money line twice. So I was like, you know what? I'll cash this out. Because it just financially was like, when I looked at betting them live, it was like minus 110. I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking do that now. So, and then it went 3 minutes later, it went to overtime. And then 2 minutes after that, they lost in fucking overtime. So, turned out to be a good decision. Plus the plus 1.5 cash for us. I don't like cashing out. I am not a cash out guy. So and then I remember sitting there thinking to myself, can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just did that. And I said that for about 5 minutes. Then I was like, I can't believe I did that. Coppin State and West Virginia will pop off game number 2 for the college basketball schedule. I tipped my hat a little bit when I said, Morgantown is a very difficult place to play. I got my odds over here. Sorry, I had to move them over from my TV. Let me move them over here. So I hate to have the side of I don't want to see the side profile of my Santa Claus starter kit, Nasty Nate. Coppin State, 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash have come in on Coppin State. And that line has not budged. If anything, you see some 32.5s out there in the marketplace. And they're kind of real 32.5s. It's a minus 109. So sometimes when you see it moves to 32.5 and it's like, but it's still only like minus 105. That's like I don't want to say it's a false front, but it's like they're moving it, but it's not really, they don't really believe in it. But when you see it almost at a minus 110, yeah, that's where they're starting to be like, okay. And that's a huge reverse number. But when you have a low total like this at 134.5, if they beat the shit out of them early, do they care late? That's a big number. We're finding that these college basketball teams aren't quite getting to that 33, 34 number. And so I thought when I looked at the line on this game that it only leaves you a margin of like 1 to 2 points. which is a little less than where I want to kind of hang my hat. I don't even wear a hat, but if I did, I wouldn't be hanging out on a 1 or 2 point margin. Total at 133.5 moved to 134.5. So you've got 56% of the bets, 57% of the cash on the under, and you've got a little bit of reverse line movement there. Not true, though, because it's sitting at that minus 105 spot. And when you look at these two teams, wow. Let me take this banner off. Take this banner off so you guys can see it plentifully. Hide current ticker. There we go. Coppin State comes into this thing. Brutal. 2-8. 1-5 on the road. These are road numbers still because they're not conference. So if there's no numbers next to them, they're probably conference numbers or, well, I guess we'll see. But 1-5 on the road. West Virginia, Morgantown, 6-0 at home. Tough place to play. Hard to travel to. Not going to see your fans. And you got a pretty goddamn good defense. Now, I talked about that last game there where I said these guys played kind of outside of their comfort zone to try to round themselves out so they can go in that conference and thump. They want to get to the tournament. They want to get to the big tournament, not just the conference tournament. So they want to go out there and, play all sorts of different looks, zones and aggressive and pace and tempo, right? All that stuff. West Virginia's kind of challenged themselves to some degree. They played Pitt. Pitt's a sneaky spot, but they played them at home. They held them to 49 points. They played Lafayette. They held them to 59 points. They played Clemson on the road. They went to Clemson. They're 3.5-point dogs. They covered the spread by a hook. There's that hooker we talked about. They went to Xavier. They got busted up by Xavier by 10 points. Well, actually, it was tournament play, but either way. And they just came off a big win. This is the comeback home. You're playing Mercyhurst. They boat raced them there, 70-38. So after they played them really strong teams, they stepped back down and they got their shit together. And they really showed that their defense can shine. And the reason I say that is because you got to look at West Virginia at home. It's a huge home under barn. West Virginia at home, the unders are 21-4. 21-4. Now, here's where I kind of came up with this hybrid approach. Low totals, big spreads. So those of you guys that are looking at West Virginia, those teams are 47-26 against the spread. That'd be a West Virginia spot. Big number, low total. I look at that and kind of thought this profile fits a lot like that previous game where they held Mercyhurst to 38 points. So I felt the prudent thing to do for this game was to pivot and jump in on this team total. The under 51.5 for Coppin State. I just don't know if West Virginia gets tired of slapping them and then puts second stringers in there and it opens up that back door a little bit. That's the thing that I'm always concerned about with those big numbers, especially early non-conference play where you're trying to get your shit together. You want to give some of them backups a chance because when you do get down in the conference, if somebody gets hurt, you don't want them to be going in there on the court for their first time. So I looked at that and said, Coppin State for me. Mr. Wesker says West Virginia first half. What's the total? Let's see. Let's see. West Virginia's first half. I mean, dude, you're still laying 17.5. I mean, I could see him going out there winning by the reason I didn't want to jump in on the full game under, just full disclosure with everybody, is I was concerned, what if West Virginia goes out there and puts up 100 points? Then I need 37 points from Coppin State or my under's fucked. So I thought I got 14 points between that 37 and 51.5 to work with. And somewhere inside of that little variable to me is where I said, okay, I'll pivot from the side of the total and take the Coppin State team to shit the bed under the bright lights of Morgantown. That makes sense? I don't know. Just a little bit of a thinking process I had. Good luck to everybody in that spot. Unless you're going to go out there and brave Coppin State. And then if you put it in the chat, I'll acknowledge you tomorrow and say, you did tell us so. FB Guy says total too low. West Virginia will take their foot off the gas. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they played great schools and they stepped down and they shut that Mercyhurst to 38 points. Now, I know Coppin State's probably a smidge above Mercyhurst, but I don't know. I mean, Coppin State spent some time playing A-10 schools, and that doesn't impress me. They got 58 against VCU, but what they do, they let VCU put up 101 points. That's probably the closest profile to a West Virginia spot that I can come up with in that scenario. So, I don't know. By the numbers. Hopefully I know. Hopefully I do know. And I'll tell you, the sharp respected betting report came through for college basketball. Now, in full disclosure, it has not been running hotter than a pistol, but they did bet Sacred Heart. As am I, betting Sacred Heart. I gave this out as a free play earlier today. And the line's coming down, so I'm a little concerned, to say the least. Now, when you get these tight numbers, we always talk about this, right? When you're between the 1 and 2s, we see, okay, well, what's the number doing? 97% of the bets. So the public loves St. Mary's. We tend to look at the percentage of bets as the whole soup, right? You guys have heard me say this before. It's all the tickets, it's the props, it's the teasers, it's the parlays. Everything that's being written is coming in on the St. Mary's side of things in one way, shape, or form. Only 77% of the bets. So a 20-point differential creates sharp, respected betting. Okay. Then we look at the total. It hasn't moved. You got 83% of the bets, 82% of the cash on this total, on the over, and it's stagnant. But when we drill down, so we have a big discrepancy, 20-point discrepancy of cash coming in on the Sacred Heart side. Look at the story that's being told when we look at the money line now. It's gone from minus 112 to minus 120 on the Sacred Heart side of things. And you have 66% of the bets and 69% of the cash on Sacred Heart. I thought that was a really great illustration. And one of the reasons I wanted to choose that game for tonight was just to kind of outline that for you guys so that when you're seeing those 1s and 2s and you're going, wow, there's a ton of cash coming in and the line's moving, not so fast. And now the question you have to ask, I mean, at this point, look, I am where I am with the -2. I gave it out all day today. I can't fucking change it. Can't change it now, but I would take the money line with Sacred Heart. You know, why? In case it does come down to the last basket, in case it is some free throw fuckery at the end, but expect them to win this game. The bigger bettors expect them to win this game, and I expect them to win this game here. Neither one of these teams are fucking heroes. 2-5 and 2-6. You know, and then you can't even say, look at strength of schedule. Again, you look at St. Mary's beat up on Howard. Okay. And they got boat raced against Ohio State. They didn't even show up. They lost by fucking 60 points against Ohio State. So, you know, outside of that, they played William and Mary. I mean, I guess they had a Cincinnati in the mix. And Sacred Heart had a 108-106 game against Central Connecticut. Keep that in mind, because Central Connecticut's getting 17.5 points tonight. But they played a Villanova squad. They got thumped, but they still played them. They played Penn State. They got thumped, but they still played them. So I always look at these teams early when you're playing, you know, quote unquote real schools. Not that they're not real schools, but, you know, teams that have expectations, right? Penn State was a tournament team, right? You got to look at these things and kind of look at how those programs can recruit and draw. They bring in new talent. So the fact that they're going, I mean, they're getting a check, no doubt. They're getting their $400,000 check to go out there and get boat raced, but I still think there's something to take away from that, and I'm not concerned about Sacred Heart being on the road against the St. Mary's team that's got 2 wins on the season. So I'll follow the Sharps in that one, and we're going to go to the big one that you guys want to talk. Actually, I got one more before we get to the big one that everybody wants to talk about. Let me see if I can find it. Where was it on the list? Gardner-Webb, and Queens are going to show down. They're trying to show up to show down in an interesting spot this evening where we have intersecting zeros. 66% of the bets, 61% of the cash have come in on Gardner-Webb. Gardner-Webb. The lines moved from 12.5 to 14.5. Then we see the Queen side of things here. Yeah, correlated movement. 161.5, a little bit of movement to the 162s. But it's not real because it's minus 115 to the under on the 162.5s. So it's pretty static. 58% of the bets, 58% of the cash on the over. I think they're false flagging you on the under, to be honest with you. I think we see points, and I think it's Queens that puts them up here. Look, I'll just give you the trends. I'll give you the totals. We'll keep this thing moving. Gardner-Webb finds themselves in an 0-11 position when they're in the dog spot with less than 4 days rest. It's not just that they're losing. It's the way they're losing. And they're losing by 22.5 points a clip. That ain't good. Then you got Queens. And when Queens plays like the Harlem Globetrotters, that tends to carry over. It carried over to a perfect 13-0. What do I mean by that? They're favorites of more than 1. They had more than 11 assists, but less than 15 threes the previous game. So, like, if you go out there and smoke a team and you're just getting everybody wet from the fucking 3-point line. All right. You maybe had a hot day of shooting, but when you're passing the ball all over the place and your Queens, with all them assists now, is against a team like Virginia. So you can expect that they weren't out there crushing the threes. They lost that game. And so if anything, off that loss, but playing like the Globetrotters, you're getting to buy low on a Queens team. So I try to continue to reference some of those points because I think they're super relevant. And in this case here, it's Queens with the minus 14.5 that I want to get to the window with. I'll take my intersecting zeros. I'll take that 14.5. I'll take the correlated movement. And I'll take a victory, I think. I hope, as we roll on to this last game. Here's the one that everybody wants to talk about. Here's the big one. What's you guys got to say? Everyone's shut down. Everyone's quiet. Everyone's quiet in the chat. All right. Number 6, Louisville. Number 25, Arkansas. Try to keep this brisk pace. You guys know the deal. Just try to keep it high level. FB Gotti says Arkansas rolls. Rolls Tide. Like the Alabama-Georgia video that I put out there for you guys to go check out after the show if you haven't done so already. Shouldn't have done so already. It was only 5:30 that I put it out there. I think what I'll do, if you guys hit the thumbs up, because the way, so just a little algorithm 101. They want that video to sit and park for like 3 hours so that they can properly assign it to wherever it needs to be assigned to. But if you guys hit the thumbs up button, as soon as I release it, I'll pop it out there for members. So before we do the public unveil, I'll make sure that all the members get a chance to see it first. Maybe get it before the lines move. So make sure, very crucial, very critical, you guys smash that thumbs up button on everything that we do around here, but specifically the work that I do around here. Everyone's doing their thing and grinding it out, but the thumbs up button means a lot. That's the way that we continue to grow this channel. Speaking of Alabama, they got Clemson on deck tonight. That's a tricky little spot. I didn't see anybody really talking about that one. And I think there's other games to bet on. Louisville and Arkansas is one that I will bet on, though, here. This line opened at minus 3.5 for Louisville. It's got 69% of the bets and 62% of the cash on the Louisville side. And what has the line done? It's gone down. That's your first red flag. Now you want to look at this and say, okay, well, we just talked about what happens when it's between the 1s and 2s. All right. 70% of the bets, 63% of the cash have taken the Louisville money line. A lot of money. It went from minus 188 to minus 130. Total's gone from 165.5 down to 164. You have 75% of the bets, 77% of the cash on the over. Slight movement, I guess, is what it comes down to. Now, I'm going to tell you who I'm going to take. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to take them. And then I'm going to give you a trend that validates why I'm taking them. But I'm on the Arkansas side. I think, first of all, the zigzag theory. This isn't the only driving factor. I'll get into some of the meat in a second here. But when you watch a team like Tennessee lose last night to Syracuse, the ACC gets +1 in the column. Well, the SEC's got to get one back in their column. And is it Alabama, Clemson? Maybe. I don't know. But I think that's important when you look at some of these tournament plays. You know, because we'll see where Syracuse ends up. Syracuse is always a pretty good ACC basketball program. I hate that fucking zone that they run, but they do it so damn well. So I guess I got to deal with it. Here's the thing. I talked to you about who's played who. Louisville's played nobody. Not only have they played nobody, this is their first true road game. Those are always bad situations to be involved with. When you got a team like Arkansas that's going to host you. When I say they played nobody, what I mean by that is the teams that they played have ranked in the bottom of all of college basketball, ranked 363 in offense. Only 2 teams in the top 175. That ain't good. And their strength of schedule ranks 350. What are there, 365 schools? How many schools are there in college basketball? There ain't that many. So they haven't really risen to the challenge. As I showed the emphasis and importance on those previous games in my cap, not so much here. And now the one thing that they do is they like to throw the 3. I like a team that likes to throw the 3 because if you start hitting them, You're on fire. And they rank 59th overall with a 37.3% three-point accuracy rate. It's pretty good. However, aforementioned, first road game means different sightlines. Bad defenses so far. And you're playing a team that ranks in the top 100 against three-point defenses. Ken Palm stats, by the way. Not my stats. Ken Palm. Everybody likes Ken Palm. Kenny Palm. That's a bad spot. And then last but not least is that Arkansas factor. And it has to do with rankings as the home dog. And the home team fucks. So I'm on Arkansas. I think they go out there and get the job done here. Plus 2.5. I like the money line too. I think this is a wrong team favorite situation. The problem for me is the money lines come down so much. If you got plus 188 last night, you're good. Today you're sitting around 130. So I don't know. We'll see. Dave paid. This is LFG. Smoke and Mirrors is bourbon number 2. Hogs, dogs at home, says Brian Smith. I like that. JPC says everyone's on Arkansas. Everyone's on Louisville. 69% of the bets and 62% of the cash on a 23,000 ticket sample on Louisville. 70% of the bets, 63% of the cash on the Louisville money line. Not everybody's on Arkansas. In fact, 30% of the bets, 37% of the cash are on Arkansas money line. So I thought it was cool to cover that one. We'll see what happens. That's a fun one to get after there. That money line move is inviting Cardinal money. Fuck you, Vegas. Dave Pate says, might sprinkle Arkansas halftime money line. Brian Smith says, this line has everything to do with Louisville on a 7-game win streak. Wrong team favorite. That's how I saw it. You go ahead and take your cupcake schedule and then come into an SEC building that's going to be on fucking fire tonight. It's going to be a tough place to play, especially for a team that likes to go out there and shoot the three. So that's going to do it for the college basketball side. I got 3 games, or do I have 4 games in the NBA to get you guys going with here? And then we'll get out of here because these games are going to start very, very soon. In fact, all right, I'm just going to give these to you quick because they are going to start very soon. First game I got, I'm taking the Denver Nuggets and Jokic to get 13 plus rebounds. That's a plus 131. We got to get some plus money back in our lives there. They're playing the Pacers. The lines come down, I get it, but the 13.5 is the rebound number for Jokic there. And I thought about this one. 20 rebounds his last game out. He's averaging 13 a game. So I just thought that was a good spot for him to be involved with. You can get plus money on his 13.5 or more, so 14 or more, but I took it down and I just said, give me the money line. It's still plus money. Also, I took the Portland Trailblazers. Now you're going to say, well, they're on the second half of a back-to-back. Got it. I don't care. 55% of the bets, 54% of the cash on the Trailblazers. The line's gone from 6.5 to 10.5. That's reverse movement as well. So why am I so into the Portland Trailblazers? Because nobody in the NBA plays better on the second half of a back-to-back than the Portland Trailblazers. They're 32-11 against the spread. They've won their last 13. I think the Cavaliers are in a bad spot this time of year here. They're just not that good a team, despite their record at 13-9. Yeah, their record shows they're better than the Trailblazers, but I don't care. If you're playing the Cavaliers off a road game, you're 15-0 when you walk into Cleveland on top of that. So I'll take the Cavaliers I'll take the Trailblazers in that spot. Oops. Well, I guess that was the one I added. Trailblazers was an ad. Get that Trailblazer spot in there. Hornets and Knicks. Hornets and Knicks. 7:30 start. Good. 11.5s have come down to 9.5s. Huge buying on the Knicks. 79% of the bets, 83% of the cash. Look, the NBA has been heating up for me. So I look at the numbers. I look at some of the stats. I look at some of the spots I want to get involved with here. And, you got LaMelo Ball's back, man. And it's audition time for LaMelo Ball. You don't want to be playing for the Charlotte Hornets. They're rested. The Knicks should win, but to go out there and win by double digits to me is where I just don't see the ask out there. Yeah, they're 1-9 in their last 10 on the road. It's not pretty for the Hornets, but their point differential is not egregious. So for them to have to go out there and win by 10 points for the Knicks, their point differential is minus 4.8 for the Hornets. So when they're losing, they're not losing by double digits. And I thought that was a good opportunity for us to slide in there in the crease, as they say. And the last game I got for you guys with college or NBA, I love this spot tonight. The Heat and the Mavericks. Holy shit. I'm on these Mavericks. I know the line's moved against them as well. 62% of the bets and 56% of the cash are on the Heat. Here's the thing. The Heat just beat the absolute dog piss out of the Clippers. Clippers team that's so broken, they're willing to get rid of their boy. They just outright released that fucker. You're gone, dude. See ya, Paul George. Or, And the Mavericks, on the other hand, look, back-to-back winnings. They beat the Clippers at Clippers. They beat Denver on the road. But this is the most important part. This is one of those rarities. These are the rarities you have to remember. When a team's playing its first game back home after a first game back home after being 4 on the road. 4 on the road, first game back home. They won their last 2. Okay, you with me? They're stomping. They're beating everybody up. The Dallas Mavericks specifically, 6-1 in that position as well. So I'm going to take a shot with the Mavericks. I think that's another wrong team favorite. What's the motivation for the Miami Heat after they just beat the piss out of the LA Clippers at this point? Like, you fucking thumped them boys real good. Now, you could argue that they had some boys they pulled out of that game, and maybe they're a little bit more rested than the average bear here, but look, they just had themselves a 4-game home streak. So this is their first game on the road. I think they're going to be met with some adversity here against the Mavericks team, and I think the Mavericks can at least keep it within a bucket. Last team to score wins this game. That's how I'm going to finish off the show, you guys. It's 7:03 on the dot. Chico DeCallis says, why the Stars tonight? Are you talking about Winnable? Because I told you last night they were punting that game to put the best goaltender in for this game. And they took their chances with the Rangers that the Rangers aren't good at home, so they put their backup in there, Casey DeSmith, and he was playing pretty decent. They went to overtime. They lost that game in OT, but yeah, the Devils are still dealing with injury. So I thought that was why. Good question. Happy to answer it. Line's coming down against the New Jersey Devils. I'll tell you what, the over is a really good look in that game too. Brian Smith says the Rockets-Kings game is going to be a track meet. Just need them to shoot over 40% on both sides of the ball. Well, thank you guys all for being here tonight. We got the show in us. We're on our way, hopefully for a big payday. So I'm going to get some videos going for us here tonight. I got that first strike thing to do. You know that. We got some other things to do with college football, but leave a comment after the show. Tell me if you're going to tail a play, if you're going to fade a play. Tell me why you're going to take a fade on a play. I'd love to talk about that and then analyze it so that maybe I can benefit, so that we can all learn and cash together. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, make sure you check out Ramon Scott tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And I'll be back here at 6 p.m. for